What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon 466 Cards, and today I'm going to talk about the big theme that I noticed from this past weekend at the Toronto Sport Card Expo. The show ran from April 24th to 27th in Toronto at the International Center. I was able to attend the entire day on Saturday and the trade net as well. So my thoughts and my takeaways are only about what happened on Saturday. If things were wildly different Thursday, Friday, Sunday, I did not see it. But I can't imagine that what I saw on Saturday would be different any other day. The main takeaway from the Sport Card Expo, and I just want to reiterate, this is the Sport Card Expo in Toronto this past weekend, was nothing to do with sports and nothing to do with sports cards. The main takeaway for me was that TCG and Pokemon has taken over the Sport Card Expo. I am not a TCG or Pokemon person, so I cannot tell you what exactly these cards were. All I know is that the tables with the most excitement and the type of cards that had more tables than I'd previously seen before had non-human beings on them, and I'll just leave it at that. They were cards with non-human beings, and so I didn't take that much footage of it because I was busy walking around and I didn't know enough about Pokemon. So I'm going to leave it to the CSE TCG page, which has their own section of the show floor. You can see here, this is their little logo in the ceiling, and while they do sell some sports cards, most of it is focused on TCG, and they have some other things in their area. It's a full corner of the show floor where they have things like this to make it a little bit more fan friendly and family friendly. And yeah, like there were way more Pokemon tables. The CSE section was by far the busiest and the liveliest. You could see here. This is just one example. And there were just so much TCG Pokemon on the show floor, but especially in the CSE section, and it had the most buzz. You can see here they do some other things to get some engagement with fans and appeal to younger people. I have no idea what this is. I'm sure this means something to somebody. And yeah, there's a lot of people dressed up and doing silly things like this. I have to say that the TCG that invaded the expo weren't just specific to TCG dealers, right? There was definitely more tables with TCG, and there was also more buzz and excitement and people around the TCG tables. But there were also sport card tables that had a little corner of their booth with some almost token TCG to kind of catch what's hot in the moment, where you would see a table full of vintage sports cards and then a little corner of a table with like a 3-row box or something just with TCG, almost as if they're like, well, this is what everybody likes, so I'll just have some of it here just to catch a piece of the action. And I saw this throughout the floor on multiple sports cards tables. The funniest interaction that I saw and overheard was a higher end dealer, again, had this layout where 95% of the stuff they showed was sports cards, and it was vintage, if I remember correctly. But then on the corner of one of the tables, there was some TCG stuff. And a TCG collector came up and saw it and came up to the dealer and said, hey, are you interested in buying Japanese TCG or Japanese Pokemon? I don't remember what it was, but it was Japanese. I remember him saying that. And the dealer said something to the effect of, oh no, sorry, I only buy sports cards, which reinforced the fact that he was a sports card guy and not a TCG guy. And the person who walked up responded, oh, that's interesting. That's surprising because you have some absolute fire in your TCG section. And the dealer looked at him like he had two heads because he's a sports card guy. He had no idea that he had higher end TCG. He just probably looked at the cards, looked up comps, put some stickers on it, and was ready to get rid of it as soon as he could because he didn't care about it. And it was very obvious he did not care about them, but he probably got them in a trade or a lot or something, and he just had to get rid of them, or maybe had someone was consigning it through his table. And it was, I felt like that interaction that I overheard really encapsulated the feeling and the theme of the show at the expo. It was like, even if you have no thoughts about TCG, about Pokemon, you still were part of the action. And that's how I felt. Again, not at all a TCG person, don't understand it in any way, shape, or form. But I felt just walking around the show floor that I'm like, oh, I guess I'm part of the TCG just by like being here. I'm now part of the TCG community because it's everywhere. You literally could not escape it. And so that was my main takeaway from the April Sport Card Expo in Toronto. If you were at the Toronto show, let me know. Do you feel the same way about way more TCG presence at the show? And if you had a similar experience, or if you felt differently, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you as always for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.